our distinguished guest today, who is one of the best cybersecurity industries, top-notch CISO. He gets recognized in top 100 CISOs or Chief Information Security Officers globally. Mr. Upendra Mardikar is a prolific inventor and cybersecurity and digital identity business enabler. He has a lot of art of possible mindset and many strategies that have led global teams to secure the world-class Fortune 100 organizations. So welcome Upendra.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. He does deserve a round of applause. Please, yeah, thank you. He is somebody who we should celebrate as a Marathi recognition, definitely. So let's talk about corporate leadership and breaking the glass ceiling. So Upendra, what are some of the most important qualities that you consider in a successful leader in today's business environment? And of course, which ones you think are essential to reach the top, C-level or whatever level you want to reach?
So first of all, can you hear me? First of all, thank you so much, Lalit and GMG for inviting me. My name is Upendra Mardikar. I'm a global CISO and head of fraud management for TIAA, which is a Fortune 100 company. I'm simply honored. Congratulations, Lalit, for your new gig. A couple of exits is not a small feat. So this is fantastic. I'm really honored and privileged to be here. When you are talking about leadership in an enterprise environment, there are, what do leaders do? So one of the primary reasons why leaders exist is to deliver stellar results. So that is the primary goal of any leader. So there are, when you look at HBR, when you look at various books written by Daniel Goleman, written by Peter Drucker, and all these leadership books, when you read, one of the things, the teams, there are various leadership styles that get emerged out of that. Reading that through Lalit and team, what I have realized is that we can basically break it into 4 parts as to what leadership do. Number 1 is create vision. What is the vision that we are? And we have Dr. Prakash Kata Amte, we have Anand Gan, we have stellar people who create vision essentially. So that is number 1. Number 2, how do we rally people behind this vision? And which is very similar to what we are doing in Garje Marathi, which is very similar to what Dr. Amte did. All of us are doing the same thing in different capacity. Number 3 is how do we go ahead and implement and execute to deliver those stellar results. And number 4 is do repeat. So these are the 4 things that we do. So after going through all these different corporations, different enterprises, I have been in the startup area, I was on the Windows side as well. We can basically distill all this information in an acronym called CRISP, C-R-I-S-P. So this could be a very sticky thing for all of us to take away. What does C stand for? Consistency. So throughout your career, as you are going ahead and doing all these entrepreneurial things, or you are ascending the corporate ladder, one thing is how can you be very consistent? Second thing is how can you be reliable? So the R, the CRISP, the acronym that I'm talking about, how do you go ahead and be very reliable in this kind of situation so that you have to demonstrate all your passion, all your skill set, focusing and delivering reliably. The third thing is, especially cyber and fraud management security is a team sport and it is a community sport. So you have to rally the team behind you, and intimacy is one of the things. So CRI, we are at I over here. So how do we become intimate with our team members, our friends, our partners, our customers? So intimacy is something that I would encourage people to consider. The second, we are again going on the CRISP, putting it crisply, CRIS. S stands for self-orientation. Guys, it's not about you. So, namrata je apan manto, humility is one of the biggest assets an individual can have, and it is all about the company and how the team can win together. Instead of saying I, how can we say we, and focus more on the team and not on self-orientation. And lastly, which is my favorite, which is P. P. P stands for possible, art of possible. So how can we think differently? And the way you mentioned about patents and all that, I'm really honored to be working on Google Pay and Apple Pay. I'm a co-creator of that. The CVV2, that you see at the back of the card, I'm really honored to be working on these technologies. But these are some of the examples, team, that we are looking at. When we look at these examples, essentially we are looking at art of possible and how do we innovate in this area. So what works in this era of leadership where things are changing is we have to deliver stellar business results, and we have to focus on the formula called CRISP, which is a very crisp way of summarizing the entire career.
Wow, the crisp acronym. Hopefully that sticks with you guys. C for consistent, R for reliable, I for intimacy of friends and team members,
Yeah.
S for
Self-orientation, no self-orientation.
and P for possible. Everything is possible.
That's it.
Art of possible. Wow. So, I was really thinking that you were going to say I for innovation to some extent. And, but it all makes sense. Absolutely. And innovation is at the crux of everything. Setting that vision and so on requires some form of innovation. And I would say you are definitely one of the pinnacle of innovation that I have seen. Those who don't know, Upendra has 105 patents already awarded. And probably quite a few in the submission stage that could get pretty soon. So I see that every month or two he adds one. That's how fast he's adding the patents these days. So related to that, how do you foster innovation? How do you create this need for creativity within your team and keep them motivated doing this day after day? How do you do that?
Perfect, thank you. I'm really honored. It is not about me, it is about the team. We co-invented lots of things. So, for example, the Google Pay and Apple Pay that all of you might be using with your phone, it was a teamwork, right? So we have lots of inventions over there. So it's the team that wins. How do we do innovation? I mean, the answers are there. One given by Albert Einstein, and another answer you won't find it or you won't think about it is in Hanuman Chalisa. Okay, so that will be an interesting thing to talk about. But as to how does Hanuman Chalisa talk about innovation? I know we are short on time, but we can have a longer conversation. But Einstein said that you cannot solve. Now I don't remember that exact quote. You can Google for it, but you cannot solve the problems that we have created with the same mindset. So with which you have created those problems. So what that means is that you have to have a different mindset to solve those problems. So any problem that we saw over here, Anand Ganu is talking about, okay, how do we increase the GDP by 1%? You cannot solve the same problems by same thinking. You have to think different. How do you think different? It's very easy to say think different. We have seen what happened with Apple. they had a slogan. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and over there it says think different. Just by saying think different, you cannot think different. The answer over there, I was able to find in Hanuman Chalisa. Okay, so here is the punchline. How many of you know Hanuman Chalisa? Oh, all right. So a lot of you, right? It says, it starts with Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nija Mana Mukura Sudhari, right? Nija Mana Mukura Sudhari. What that means is you have to clean your mind. So what that means is that you have to make sure that your mind is absolutely still so that you can see the real reflection. And when we are doing these kinds of things, suddenly the things start coming in. So I meditate a lot, as you can imagine. And because of this meditation, what happens is that I start seeing the problems in a very different way, or the solutions to these problems in a very different way. And I try to throw, there is always a PPT, which is people, process, and technology. So I try to see how can I solve this problem using all these tools that we have in a very different way. So that is the only. We have lots of luminaries over here who have accomplished a lot, in the audience. And with all humility, all I'm saying is that the way I address this problem, I want to learn from you. But the way I address innovation and the way I foster innovation is through making my mind stable and then looking at these problems in a very different way.
I know, just like Dr. T.V. Joshi, we are also asked to cut down from creating 90,000 crore, 900 crore, back to whatever you can within the 10-15 minutes. So this was just a glimpse of various leadership techniques on what to do. But definitely during the break, grab hold of Upendra. He is available throughout the day today as well as tomorrow. And grab hold of, he is also part of the panelists in cybersecurity panel. So grab hold of him to get more advice on this. Before parting the ways, Upendra, any final words, any final advice?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing is I'm here to help. Right? I was telling Sandeep that I believe in Nishkam Karma. So people say that hey, you give and then you get. I don't believe in getting. Yeah, I'm here to give. So that is my honest and sincere effort over here as to why I'm involved with GMG in Nishkam Karma. So I'm here to give to people. Please feel free to hit me on LinkedIn so that I can help you guys. One of the things when we are talking about 1% GDP and when we are talking of agriculture, when we are talking about all these industry IoTs, one thing we have to know that we are kind of quote unquote in cyber war. What that means is there are nation states who are looking at developing countries, and we cannot forget that we have to come together as good guys and see cyber as a community sport. So whenever we are talking about all this agriculture, pharma, and all this innovation, let's not forget cyber. And how can we go and how can we take this world from cyber war to cyber peace is something that I would request all of you. So like Mauli said, Jai Kranchi Venkati Sando, so that is what we want, right? All the cyber criminals should forget about their Khara or their Venkati rather. So that's it. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.